Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
Okay, so first of all, apologize. We're traveling. This is our last day of traveling.
Okay.
Every video after tomorrow is going to be back in the office where we film all the videos. Okay. Update to Las Vegas real estate market, a weekly update, because the market's on fire. We're going to go through the numbers, but every single indicator is turning, showing the market's rapidly going back to a normal market and doing what it normally does in spring.
Right. So springtime is buying season. That means that homes are selling. So if you're hearing that they're not, we've got some numbers for you to consider.
Okay. So first thing we're going to do is market action index. You've seen this many times. Last week's video was 36. Now, Juana, what it was at basically from September to like January?
Like 32.
It stayed. It didn't change. And we thought it would get worse, but it didn't. Like 30 was that magical number that if it got worse than that, that became a buyer's market. But it never did. It never got worse than that. But it's rapidly appreciating. Not appreciating, but rapidly improving. Okay. Now what we're going to show you is going to blow your mind. This is the market action index for the last 5 years. Okay. If you look over all the way to the left, you'll see 2019. It never got above, it basically stayed at 30 for all of 2019. Now remember, 2019 was a normal market. It was the market's going to crash. That was another year the videos were coming out.
Okay, but those videos are constant. I mean, it doesn't matter what the market's doing. The market's going to crash videos are constant. So.
But there were a lot of people that sold in 2019 that have come on put comments and sent us personal emails saying the worst thing they did was sell in 2019 because they were told the market was going to crash. And now they've given up, one guy gave up $1.2 million of equity. That's how much his house appreciated.
Ouch.
In 4 years. Okay. So the market action index never got above 40, basically stayed at right about 40, high 30s, low 40s. And you can see it got hot there during the crazy market where prices skyrocketed. Last week, it was at 40. You can go back and watch last week's video. It's at 44.63. Now remember, that's the 7-day average. The 37 is the 90-day average. You can see where this thing is going. This thing is going into the 50s and 60s at least, which is way more than a normal market. It's way hotter than a normal market, which is what the spring is looking to be, maybe the second or third hottest spring behind the last 2 years.
Right. So a lot of this is not because it's such a hot real estate market per se. It's because of the lack of inventory. So when there are more buyers chasing fewer houses, this is where we are.
Okay. The next thing we're going to go through the real-time market profile. This is more of a shorter time frame. Now everything that's checked in red is bad for the real estate market. That's the trending bad for the real estate market. As you can see, there's nothing checked in red. Everything checked in yellow is, it's like not really showing that much, okay? Everything checked in green is great. The thing is, the two things I have checked in yellow, one of them is a lagging indicator. Okay, so let's go through. Median list prices, you can see the last 6 weeks has basically been up. It's up from like 460, 470 to 500,000, right? That's the median list price. The median price of new listings, you can see it's sort of going up, but it's kind of been bouncing around that 460 to 470, 80 range. Price per square foot, this has been $249 or $250 for basically 2 months.
Right.
But you could see as it was dropping and it stopped. Why is this why the fact that this isn't still going down probably good for the market?
So remember, price per square foot is looking back because we calculate that based on properties that have closed escrow. So we know exactly what those properties sold for. So that price per square foot is looking back at homes that have actually sold. So when that number is not moving or is not declining, that lets us know it's a stable market or an appreciating market.
We called the bottom of the market the end of January, beginning of February based on the data. And this does lag by 45 to 60 days, which is kind of almost exactly when it really bottomed out. We'll start to see these numbers probably improve. Okay, the next two, average days on market, median days on market. These are sine waves. If you look at these go up, they go down, they go up, they go down throughout the year. They basically sine wave. And you're saying, but it's going up. No, you can see it's already turned. So when it does that, it starts to go the other way. Remember why does this also lag?
So I'm sorry, which one was this?
Days on market.
Oh, so days on market is lagging because again, we don't know how long it takes to sell these houses because things happen in the process, right? So homes, maybe they get an accepted offer, maybe they come back on the market. So all of that plays into it. So we don't actually know until the property actually closes escrow.
Yeah, the agent puts in a comment, this is the actual closing date, and then all this data is public data. We can say, oh, it was only on the market this long, et cetera, okay? Price decrease, price increases, all these other ones. Inventory is another huge one. Rents even are the highest they've ever been, 2,200. I think that's up from last week, and it was 2,195.
Yeah.
So market action, you can see, is taken off. Ski slope there. Okay, here's another one. Median list price. For the last 2 years, it was above the 7-day average, which meant it was a leading indicator. Prices went up. Then you can see it turned and it started dropping. This is what everyone said was the crash. We said, no, this is going to be an adjustment. It's already back above it. Once it gets above it, it stays above it. So the median list prices are now likely to increase for, we don't know, 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, we don't know. Okay.
Right. And then anecdotally speaking, I'm seeing a lot of offers come across my desk, and I'm seeing buyers having to pay some of the seller's closing costs. Now, I am seeing sellers paying some of the buyer's closing costs too. But I'm seeing much more of a normal, even-handed market. So this market where buyers have all the leverage, I'm not seeing it as much.
And this is all happening with interest rates that are double what they were a year and a half ago, or a year and a couple months ago.
Right, because we've talked about this before. The interest rates are they're noise more than anything else. First of all, people have to live somewhere. Second of all, you've got a mortgage payment to make, whether it's yours or your landlord's. And third, as far as the amount of interest being charged, people are very adaptable. So they understand this is the new normal, which I hate to say that, but that's just the way it is. And so they're moving on. They're making life choices that make sense for them and their families. And they're going out and they're purchasing properties. It's springtime. This is when homes sell, and this spring is no different than any other spring.
Okay, this next slide is inventory. And this is, you can see the rapid increase of inventory. It never even got back to 2019 levels. It didn't pass it. It went this is the inventory was going to get worse. You can watch the videos. Inventory was going to get worse than 2006, 7, and 8. In Vegas, it got up to 26,000 total homes on the market. And you can see here, it didn't even get to 2019 levels. And it's like a super steep, like roller coaster drop. And the 7-day average, as you can see, is even less, which means inventory is going to keep dropping. And why is this? So we were told, people came on the blog like a month ago and said, but interest rates are going up. They're going to go up, and it'll immediately choke off everything. Why is this? Does this taking into account what interest rates are doing right now?
Yeah.
The inventory. Why is that?
So look, interest rates are high, and high interest rates right now are actually not keeping buyers away, but they're keeping sellers on the sidelines, because these sellers have 3%, sub 3% loans. And their position is, look, there's not that much inventory out there for me to choose from. And the last thing I'm going to do is not have a lot of choice and have to pay a higher interest rate by going out and purchasing a replacement property. So because they're not looking for replacement properties, their properties are not coming on the market.
Okay, here's the price per square foot chart. Now, when you look at this, you can see that the price per square foot, the going rate for a couple years before the pandemic was $175 per square foot for Las Vegas. And you can see this took off from peak to trough. Now, if you look at year over year, it's the same. If you go back that little diamond, that was a year ago today, 2 years ago, 3, 4, and then the very left end of the chart's 5 years. If you go back to the diamond just to the left of us, it's basically the same. Prices are basically the same. Okay, but this is the overall market. The next slide I'm going to show you is going to knock your socks off, because once you see the next slide, you're going to be like, oh my God, like eyes are going to open. You're going to realize that you've been told a bunch of BS by the crashers. The peak to trough declined about 8%. So we have an 8% rise and 8% trough. We literally exactly said that would happen, that they would adjust. They've adjusted back to last year's prices. You cannot have a housing crash when home prices have reached last year's levels and now are going up, because the dashed line the 250. This is the first week where it's crossed that line. It's going back the other way. So the prices are starting to go back up.
Right.
Did this happen in 2006, 7, 8, 9? Did it happen those years ever? Did prices ever go up?
No, they didn't go up. So during that time, we had prices that were less soft in the spring and they were softer in the fall, but we didn't have prices that increased. We overall had prices that decreased until the market bottomed out in about 2011.
Okay, here's the amazing one. This is price per square foot broken into 4 categories. The blue line is the top quarter of all homes, meaning the quarter most expensive homes. Call it luxury, it's the high quarter of the market. The next 3 lines is the bottom 3 quarters of the market, okay? So that's basically everything from like 750, 800,000 and below. It's the real estate market, okay? Pretend that those top quarter of homes didn't exist. This is the real estate market. As you can see, the market, the blue line, the market that took the biggest amount of loss, you could call it whatever, unrealized loss, was the top quarter of the market. If you look at the bottom 3 quarters of the market, just go back to that little triangle there to the left, it's today higher than it was a year ago. So what happened was the most expensive homes that took the biggest decline in value have made it look like statistically when you average them into the rest of the market. So if you're out there with a median kind of average priced home, yes, it's worth less than it was in June when there was a ton of FOMO and people panic buying, right? Trying to lock in those last 4% interest rates, but it's still up. And this is absolutely unequivocally could not have happened. The housing crashers would have all told you absolutely not. This would not. Home prices would not be higher for 3 quarters of the market, and they are.
They are, and again, I'm seeing lots of offers come across in all price ranges, but certainly those bottom 3 quarters of the market, they're moving.
And you're seeing a lot of offers every day, right?
Right.
Okay. Last thing on this chart, look at the trajectory of the top of the market. Like the rest of the real estate market's starting to kind of head sideways again. It's not depreciating. It's definitely not going down in Vegas. But the top is what's kind of blown my mind that this thing is, you can see the history of it, cyclical, but it's like absolutely on a rocket ship.
Right, but the thing is that the top of the market is more volatile, right? Because there are less properties, so as things happen, it has kind of an outsized impact on the way the market looks.
Right. Okay, let me get to my next slide because I lost a bunch of slides there.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the last thing. We've shown all the data. All this is data. We're not making promises. We're not saying this is a great time, you should run out and buy a house. We've never said that. Matter of fact, what we said last spring, that is on our video, every one of our videos, we said on every video, I think, the 4 best months to buy a house would probably be
October, November, December, January.
We said that this spring.
Okay, but here's the thing. This is every year. Okay.
Because there's more homes available.
There's more homes available,
Okay.
and there are usually less buyers chasing during those months because of the holidays, yes.
Also, any time before January of last year would have been a fantastic time, especially 2021, 2020, 2019, 18, all the way back to 2009. Fantastic time to have bought a house. So I had some people say, but California is completely wrecked. The real estate market is absolutely pathetic there. And what happens in California follows in Nevada, which is absolutely not true. But if that's the case, and you believe that, then I want you to meet Gantry Wilson. Gantry Wilson is a real estate agent in Orange County, happens to be a friend of mine. Gantry Wilson, this is a picture of him from the open house he did last weekend. He has an average house in Orange County that he put on the market in pre-listing. So he says, I'm going to list the house, but I'm going to first do an open house on it, and then it'll come on the market on Monday. The line of people you see were the people that were lined up down the street, like down through the neighborhood down the street to see the open house. The weekend, 2 days, 600 people came to see the open house in this horrible market where interest rates have choked off all the people that want to buy a house.
So you'd think that he was giving the house away, but he wasn't. The house was marketed at market price.
The last sold comp. I think he said within $5,000 of the last sold comp.
Right. So people are interested in buying. But, to me, the number of people wanting to see this house is indicative of the lack of inventory. And I know I've been kind of hammering this thing home, but people are not going to stand in line that way if there are lots of houses up and down the block for them to take a look at. They're standing in line because they've seen everything else. There's not a whole lot out there, and there's a new one. There's a new shiny, and they want to see it, and they want an opportunity to purchase it.
So two things. First of all, inventory is what's driving the market right now. To the people, and I don't disagree, 100% for that you're 100% right if you say higher interest rates is affecting home affordability. It does for like some people. People buying cash, how would want to explain to them how devastating higher interest rates are to cash buyers?
They're not.
Oh, why aren't they though?
Because cash buyers don't care about the interest rates.
Why not? When they go get a loan, isn't their payment going to be higher?
They don't have a loan.
They're not getting a loan.
And then, look, most people are putting down, some amount of money, whether it's 10, 20, 30% down.
Okay.
And all of that is impacting their monthly payment.
Yes.
The other thing is there is the possibility to buy down the rate, depending on what their situation is. Their financial institution may even offer them a better rate. If you're buying new construction, they'll buy down your rate sometimes. So there are all kinds of ways to deal with that. It's not uncommon still to see 4% and change interest rates because of the rates being bought down.
There's somebody who bought, they paid like 7% when rates peaked above 7, and they just refied for 5. And it's absolutely, they refied for 5. So that they bought the house at 7, they've already refied at 5, and I guarantee you they're going to sit on that rate in a couple years. When interest rates fall, they'll refi again. A lot of people are betting on the come. They're going to just refi. If you think, oh, these people, they're all going to get foreclosed in a year when interest rates don't fall, that's not true. They're not all going to get foreclosed. I've had a ton of people come on the video blog and say, oh, but I bought my house in 2019 and I have a 3.2% rate and I'm never going to sell my house. Okay, so we're going to talk about the two things. I'm going to talk about one, then one will talk about the last thing, and then wrap up the video. For every person that is saying interest rates are too high, that no one's going to buy, they're also saying, well, interest rates are only going higher. So if interest rates are going higher, they're rushing in to buy before interest rate, because they're still in the 6s, before they get to 7% or 8%, right? So they're rushing in because they keep hearing how interest rates are going to go up, right? That's the first thing. Want to talk about how high interest rates locks in sellers and locks them out of the market and keeps their homes from coming on the market.
Right. So I talked about that a couple minutes ago on the video. When you're a seller and you have a 3%, 2% interest rate, you're very hesitant to give that up. So what you're going to do is you're going to either stay put in your house and not go out there and buy something, or you will go out there and buy something, but you will not sell your house because you've got this great interest rate, and you'll turn the house into a rental. But either way, that house that you're in as a seller is not coming on the market for sale. So it's either you're staying in it or it's getting rented out.
Literally everything we've said in the last 2 years has happened. Like literally everything. So we've never said ever, it's a good time to buy. We honestly could care less whether you buy a house or not. That doesn't, we make our money doing listings. That's how most of our business is transacting listings. We list to people, homes for people. And fortunately for us, we work with a lot of probate attorneys. And, when their clients die and they come to us and say, hey, we need you to sell the house for the client. So that's a great source of business. We're sorry for the people that died, but the heirs sometimes liquidate the house. A lot of the heirs are choosing not to liquidate the homes. They're keeping them because they're trying to hedge inflation, which is the last thing I want you to talk about. So real estate is a hedge against inflation.
Right. So the way real estate is a hedge against inflation is two ways. One, as far as appreciation is concerned, right? As prices go up on everything else, prices go up for houses too. And then, of course, if you're using the property as a rental property, then as prices go up for everything else in the marketplace, so do rents, so that rises that boat too. Real estate is the most significant wealth builder that I think there ever was. And we've talked about this a lot. Not that I'm advocating anybody buying real estate, but I'm just saying, look, everybody's got to live somewhere, and real estate over time appreciates. It's a real tangible asset, and as opposed to an EFT or something like that, or
Board Ape Yacht Club.
Yes. So anyway, so that's the way that part goes. The other thing that's going on is people have gotten wiser as far as the instruments that they use to care for their property after they're gone. So people are doing trusts, so they are leaving their heirs their properties in trusts, and this is helping them build their own wealth. So parents are trying to be good stewards even after they're gone for their children, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
So anyway, if this video was interesting, if it was fun,
It was a ton of fun.
It was fun, a ton of fun. If you got some information out of it, we're glad. Please like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video, leave us a comment, and tell us what you think. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.